Hello and welcome to TD's Pokemon Lair. I'm TD and this is my lair. Today we're unboxing another box of 10 Pokemon cards I sent to PSA. Got them back in this box, professionally packaged. Let me get them out of here and let's see what grades I got. Alright, let's go. Check out this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Brock Sandshrew, a first edition, the number 71st card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, it's very clean. There's no problems on the graphics. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think that's within the tolerance. Looking at it from top to bottom, it's slightly towards the top. Looking at our corners and edges for any damage, I did not find any. Flipping the card over and looking at the back, you can see that our surface is still free of any creases, bends, or scratches. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think that's within the tolerance. Looking at it from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I can see some slight damage on the upper left corner and the lower right corner. And we're going to get a grade of Mint 9. That's not too bad. Let's look at this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Brock Sandshrew, a first edition, the number 72nd card of the set. This one has a nice sunset on the graphics and it looks very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, I think it's slightly towards the top. And center very little bit towards the top. Centering left and right, I think, is within the tolerances. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're clean and free of damage. The back of the card looks very clean. There's no scratches, creases, bends, or dirt on the surface of this card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's really close to the tolerance. Top to bottom centering looks really close, maybe a little towards the top. But looking at our corners and our edges, there's some very slight damage on that upper left corner. And that's going to get us grade of Mint 9. That's pretty good. I think that little bit of damage on that corner kept us from a 10. Here is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Brock's Vulpix, a first edition, the number 73rd card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, is very bright. There's no scratches, creases, bends, or any other damage to the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think that's within tolerance, maybe a little to the right, and our centering from top to bottom is a little bit towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're free of any damage. As we turn the card over and look at the back, our centering problems continue. In fact, they're worse back here. The centering from top to bottom is quite a bit towards the top, and our centering from left to right, I think it looks a little towards the left. And looking at our surface, though, it is very clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our corners and our edges, they're actually pretty darn clean. And we'll get a grade of what with the centering problem? We'll get a Mint 9. That's pretty good with that centering being that far off. We're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Brock Zubat, a first edition, the number 74th card of the set. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are all within or close to the spec. Looking at our surface, the graphics are bright. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of the card. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they are free of any damage. Let's look at the back of the card and we'll start with the centering, and from left to right and top to bottom, I think those are all real close or within the tolerances. Looking at our surface of the card, you can see that it is free of any dirt, damage, creases, bends, or scratches. Looking at our corners and our edges, the upper left corner and the lower right corner both have some slight damage. And that'll get us a grade of Mint 9. Not too shabby. Let me show you this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Erika's Bellsprout, a first edition, the number 75 card of the set. Looking at the front graphics, they're very bright and clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface of the card. Looking at our centering from top to bottom, it's towards the bottom a little bit, and left to right centering is towards the right a little bit. Looking at our corners and our edges, I don't see any damage at all. The back of the card looks really clean. There's no scratches, creases, bends, or any other problems with the graphics. Our centering from left to right is towards the left a little bit. Centering top to bottom is towards the bottom a little bit. And looking at the corners and edges, they are free of any damage. I did not find any. And Bellsprout's going to get a grade of Mint 9. Pretty darn good. You're looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Erika's Bellsprout, a first edition, the number 76th card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, I really like the graphics. They're clean. There's no scratches, creases, or bends on the surface or any other problems with the front of this card. Looking at our centering from left to right, I think it's within the tolerance or maybe slightly towards the right. Our centering from top to bottom looks a little bit towards the top. And looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're free of any damage. Flip the card over. Let's take a look at the back, and our surface looks really clean. I don't see any bends, scratches, creases, or any other problems. Looking at our centering from left to right, it looks a little towards the left, and top to bottom, the centering looks a little towards the top. And looking at our corners and our edges, you can see there is some slight damage on that upper right corner. And Bellsprout's going to get a grade of mint 9. I'll take it. This card is a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Erika's Exeggcute, a first edition, the number 77th card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, it looks really nice. I don't see any creases, bends, or any other damage on the surface. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, I think that's all within the tolerance, or really close. And looking for any damage on the corners and the edges, I did not find any. The back of the card looks pretty good at a quick glance. There's no problems with the surface like scratches, creases, or bends. Looking at our centering from top to bottom and left to right, all those look like they're pretty close to tolerance or within. Looking at our corners and our edges, you can see that there's some damage to that upper right corner. And this card will grade a mint 9. It's not too bad. Let's check out this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Erika's Oddish, a first edition, the number 78th card of the set. Looking at the front of this card, I like the graphics. The surface is free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Our centering from left to right, I think, looks pretty close to the tolerance. From top to bottom, though, I think it's slightly towards the bottom. Looking at the corners and edges, I think they're free of any damage. Looking to the back of the card, our surface is still free of any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Our centering from left to right is slightly towards the left, I think, maybe out of the spec. And top to bottom is slightly towards the bottom. Looking at our corners and our edges, the lower right corner has some slight damage. And this card is going to get a grade of mint 9. Those are pretty darn good. We are looking at a 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Erika's Tangela, a first edition, the number 79th card of this set. Looking at the front of this card, I like the graphics. I like the cleanliness of the surface. There's no creases, scratches, or bends. Looking at our centering from left to right and top to bottom, I think the only problem is they're slightly towards the bottom. Left to right looks within tolerance. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think they're very clean and show no damage. Back of the card, we'll start with our centering from left to right. I think it's slightly towards the left, and top to bottom is slightly towards the bottom. Looking at our corners and our edges, I think both right corners have some slight damage. Looking at the surface of the card, though, I think it's free of any damage like creases, bends, scratches, or any dirt. And that's going to get us a grade of mint 9. I'll take it most of the days. I'm showing you this 2000 Pokemon Gym Heroes Lieutenant Surge's Magnemite, a first edition, the number 80th card of the set. We'll take a look at the front of the card. I don't see any problems on the surface like creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage. Our centering from left to right looks really good. Our centering from top to bottom, I think, is slightly towards the top. And for any damage on the corners and edges, I did not find any. The back of the card looks really nice. I don't see any creases, bends, scratches, or any other damage to the surface. Looking at our centering from left to right, it looks a little towards the right, and top to bottom, it looks towards the top. Looking at our corners and our edges, you can see that the upper right corner has some slight damage. And this card is going to get a grade of mint 9. I like it very much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the cards presented. Please like and subscribe. And always remember, you got to catch them all. Have an awesome day.